Well, good morning, YouTube and Facebook. This is Dr. Leon K. McCray. I just want to do a little short video, real estate video regarding, zoning and building code regulations. I purchased a property in Tampa some years ago, and this particular property, uh, from its inception, was a church, small property, small, only 1,600 square foot church, and the neighborhood in which the property is in is a residential neighborhood, and this property was already zoned residential, even though it had been a church. All right, so when I bought it, I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do, whether I was going to leave it as a church or convert it to a resident because it was already zoned residential. Well, for a few years after I bought it, I allowed it because I wasn't ready to move to Tampa, Florida. I rented it out as a church, and due to COVID, the people that was renting it from me wasn't getting they were unable to have church, and so they asked me to be released from the lease, and I did release them from the lease, which kind of put me in a dilemma. What do I do now with the property? And the property has always had a situation where it did not have enough property. Excuse me, it did not have enough parking. All right. Now, even though the church, it had enough capacity to probably hold 50 people or so. All right, but parking absolutely on the site was only limited to about 3 to 4 cars on the property, and everybody else had to park on the street. So that was a limiting factor for the property. And so when the church moved out, I had to figure out what I was going to do. And what I came up with, well, I will rehab the church and turn it into a house because it was already zoned residential. And so what I did, I went and got a construction loan to remodel the property because, again, and I keep saying the same thing, is that it was already zoned residential. And the good thing about that, when a property is zoned residential, you can by right convert that back to residential without a problem. Okay. Whereas if the property was zoned for a church or industrial or some other retail or some other designation, then you would have to go to zoning and to get the property rezoned residential to allow you to build a house. Okay, that should not have been the issue with this particular property because by right or by law, according to the zoning standards, I was allowed by right to convert this property to a resident. Okay. And so after I got the loan and submitted the drawings to convert this property, this is a note to all of you rehabbers and flippers. You got to pay a lot more detail than this because this wind up costing me a lot of money and wind up costing me a lot of time. Even though I've been in real estate for 20 years, I had never ran into this dilemma. Okay, and what happened? I submitted my drawings to the city to get them approved so I can get my building permit. And I just ran into a nightmare. And the issue was that even though the property was already zoned residential, the building did not meet the current setbacks for a building that size, residential wise. It was already grandfathered because, for a church. But now that I wanted to convert it back to residential, even though it's zoned residential, it did not meet the setback requirements from the front or the sides, the current setback requirements for a house. And what they wound up doing, I had to get this special survey, which wound up costing me hundreds of dollars rather than a regular survey. typographical survey. And when that was exposed, then I had to go in and almost get a variance that would allow me to get this done. And it was administrative variance. But what the city wound up doing is, because I'm now converting it, what should have cost me a few $100s to get the permit wound up costing me well over $8,000 to now get that permit, because in the fact that I was converting it over to a house, now the city wanted impact fees. Well, now impact fees, they're saying that, now that you're converting it over to a house, impact fees, you got fees regarding what are the impacts to the school system, what is the impact to the fire system, and so forth. Long story short, I'm paying over $8,000 for the permit, plus the regular fees for the permit, which was several $100s, about $550 for the new survey that I had to get. Then I had to get an architect to change the drawings up to meet their requirements. It was many, many thousands of dollars. So I guess lesson learned on this: make sure that, to the maximum extent possible, even though you can do something by right. And I had already, before I got the loan, I checked with the city of Tampa to make sure that it was permissible, everything was going to be okay, and that I could get this done. And no problems, Mr. McCray. It's no problem. The property is already zoned residential. You're not going to have a problem. I got that same answer twice on two separate occasions. Okay. But what I'm asking you, you probably need to take a look at it if you have a same kind of situation, that you want to dig a little deeper. And if you can submit for a permit earlier and find out this information before you get a loan or before you purchase the property, I would advise you to do that, because it may convince you to either not do the deal, or maybe the deal is going to have the price of the property going to have to be reduced to offset for that. But it was a very expensive learning experience. So pay attention. Make sure you do your due diligence. What you think might be the case may not be the case. So I'm just straight up with you. In the end, is it still going to be a great deal? Yes, it is going to be a good deal. Sometimes, you get something at a great price, and because the neighborhood is being regentified, prices are really escalating in that area, and it's going to be a good thing. But still, I would like to have that really about $10,000. I would like to have that in my pocket rather than the city's pocket. Again, just lessons learned. So if you want to contact me, you can contact me at leon@leonmccray.com. That's Leon at leonmccray.com. Thank you so much. Again, this is Dr. Leon McCray with Real Estate, talking about some zoning issues that you may have to deal with. Make sure you do your due diligence. God bless you. Again, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. God bless you, and have a wonderful day.